Hey guys, Tyler here. So, last night, just with a friend of mine, my good buddy Caleb, who you might have seen in some previous videos of mine, we both did a double feature where we watched Logan Lucky, and then, after a half hour of waiting, we ended up seeing Hitman's Bodyguard at the exact same theater. And I figured, why make two separate videos? Why not bunch the two of them together? So, in the style of a double feature, I'm going to be talking about Logan Lucky first, and after I'm done, I'm going to move on directly to the Hitman's Bodyguard. And if you want to see a shortcut to the separate reviews, I put them in the description below. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Logan Lucky and the Hitman's Bodyguard are both No Perfect Movie. So in Logan Lucky, three siblings named Jimmy, Clyde, and Melly, played by Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, and Riley Keough, come up with a plan to rob the Charlotte Motor Speedway during Memorial Day with the help of an explosives expert named Joe Bang, played by Daniel Craig, and his two dim-witted brothers Sam and Fish, played by Brian Gleason and Jack Quaid. In this movie, there are characters that you can identify with because of how sympathetic they are, and characters who are just hilarious in how stupid they are. Channing Tatum has such a genuine relationship with his daughter where he treats and talks to her like any normal father would, that when he finds out that his ex-wife wants to move away with her new husband and take the daughter with, you can identify with his need for money in order to stay in his daughter's life. And with Adam Driver, it's easy to feel sorry for him when people make fun of him for being an amputee, but you're also really impressed by just how many things he can actually do with one arm, that you never really fully see it as a disadvantage. But the biggest surprise for me, by far, was Daniel Craig as Joe Bang, as well as the two guys who play his brothers. Craig just brings a lot of laughs for the fact that he is the smartest member in the group and has to constantly explain scientifically why he uses everyday items as improvised explosives, and he always has a snarky response whenever nobody understands what he's talking about. And Brian Gleason and Jack Quaid are just hilarious in the fact that they always try to sound intelligent, but their poor choice of words and their gullibility makes you laugh every single time they fail to impress the Logans, or if they manage to succeed in their task just for dumb luck. Now, when Steven Soderbergh said that he was retiring, like most people, I just figured he'd come back a few years later, which, big fucking shock. But thankfully, he proves that he's never lost his unique visual style as a director. He uses a lot of longer, extended takes in huge wide shots that make the character's actions feel a lot more shocking, like a character crashing a car or moving from one location to the next, completely undetected. And the cool thing is, Soderbergh's use of montage featuring close-ups of the Speedway's inner workings help the audience understand how it could be robbed in the first place. But he never lays out the entire plan in just one scene right away. Each part of the plan is slowly built up and introduced, so that we can be surprised and not know what to expect. And it's even more impressive that none of the characters are using high-tech gadgets. They're all using everyday appliances such as a vacuum cleaner or some homemade ingredients that can be made into a Molotov cocktail. It's really top-notch. The movie's only real flaws are, for starters, the third act is a little too slow-paced in how it's trying to wrap up every plot detail and give it a conclusion. They add in some extra details that, in my opinion, could have been left out and it wouldn't have changed the eventual outcome. And even though she's only in it for about 10 to 15 minutes, Hilary Swank is way too over the top as this one cop who's trying to find the thieves. I don't know, it's just her voice and expressions just seem so exaggerated whenever she's venting her frustrations on having no leads whatsoever. Logan Lucky is a fantastic return to form for Steven Soderbergh. The directing style feels unique from most current movies, the script features a clever heist, and colorful, hilariously stupid characters who are brought to life by a really talented cast. And for that reason, I'm going to give Logan Lucky a 4 out of 5. Well, thank you for sticking with me for the Logan Lucky review. Now we're going to move on to the Hitman's Bodyguard. So in The Hitman's Bodyguard, an executive protection agent, played by Ryan Reynolds, reluctantly agrees to escort a notorious convicted hitman, played by Samuel L. Jackson, within 24 hours to the International Court of Justice so that he can testify against an evil dictator played by Gary Oldman. Now to me, the thing that matters most about this movie, and the thing that it succeeds at the most, is the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. Reynolds is a really effective straight man. It's easy to understand why he wouldn't want to protect a man who has tried to kill several of his clients in the past, but it's also really funny seeing him flip out from one of Jackson's antics. And Jackson adds a lot of humor to his character just for his comedic timing and his facial expressions. Because many of his insults and quips you can see coming a mile away, I don't doubt that. But I really didn't mind it because he knows how to tell a joke, how quickly, when to do it, and he always looks like he's having a ton of fun bringing so much misery to Reynolds' character. And Salma Hayek is also really hilarious as Jackson's wife. She has this really strange love-hate relationship with him where she blames him for her being in prison and not remembering certain things about her. But at the same time, you do genuinely believe that the two of them love each other, especially during the flashback where we see how they met and just how much the two of them have in common. It's so hilarious in how dark and over the top it is. Patrick Hughes' direction of the action scenes are a bit of a mixed bag. Whenever you see the characters doing some really cool stunts, such as Samuel L. Jackson driving a boat through Amsterdam, or Reynolds' character perfectly landing a motorcycle after jumping, you can see that it's all done practically with the actors doing as much of it as they can, and still using stunt doubles who are dedicated at their craft. But whenever characters are engaging in a fist fight, the editing goes by so quickly that you can never really feel the impact of a hit. You can still tell what's going on, you can still see the choreography, but it's just not as enjoyable as it could have been. The movie does suffer from some typical cliched subplots that you would get in normal action movies nowadays. For one, there's a subplot involving Reynolds' ex-girlfriend where he honestly treats her like a complete dick because he thinks that she's the one who jeopardized his career earlier on in the movie, when we already know full well it was probably Jackson who did that, and it turns out it was, and he even says, I kind of figured you'd know that by now. And there are moments where they split up, and you get the feeling, oh, well, what's going to happen? We know what's going to happen. They're going to decide at the last minute that they were dicks to each other, and they're going to get back together in the end. I don't get why movies keep teasing us with this kind of plot thread. We already know what's going to happen. And Gary Oldman was completely forgettable as the main villain. For starters, he's barely in the movie anyways, and his motivations are completely bland. He's just another evil dictator who wants to rule over his country with an iron fist. And his methods of maintaining power, like executing people in front of their loved ones, it was so gritty and graphic, it didn't really match up with the comedic, over-the-top tone that the rest of the movie has. It is true that the Hitman's Bodyguard does have a cliché plot and an underwhelming villain, but I kind of knew these things going in anyways, and really, the main thing I wanted to see in the Hitman's Bodyguard was the Hitman and his bodyguard. And Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson have such good chemistry, it's really hard not to appreciate this movie, and for that reason, I'm going to give the Hitman's Bodyguard a 3.5 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching, and thank you so much for sticking through with both of these reviews in one video. I've always wondered what it would be like to try that sort of format, and I'm glad I tried it, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do more videos in this kind of format in the future. And if you like it, great. If not, well, you're lost. I'm going to try and do it anyways. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at NoPerfectMovie.com, and once again, thank you all very much for watching. Take care.